Welcome to House Business, where we give you business ideas on the house. I'm your host, Nicole.
And I'm your host, Marc.
And each week, we are going to present you with a business idea and discuss the considerations needed. Debates will be had, and some of these ideas will be really good. Some you might not like. But the best part is these ideas are yours to keep.
And this week, my tagline teaser for you is spin to win.
This right here feel like money. This right here feel like money. Ooh. Money moves. Ooh. Money moves. Ooh. This right here feel like money. This right here feel like money. Ooh.
Nicole, I had a thought this week.
Okay.
And I thought there are times that I think sometimes I'm a bit of a hater and I just start hating something. I just wanted to know first, what did you hate this week? Was there give me your biggest hate thing this week? Because you're so nice, you're so nice to people.
I feel like I'm being put on the spot. I'm like, oh gosh,
you
what
are
did I hate?
100% being put on the spot.
I got to think about this. I feel like what I dislike, we'll go with that, or hate.
Uh-huh.
I just hate negativity. And so this is probably the easiest way out. And I'll get to something else that I hate. Fine. But specifically in my life right now, dealing with, if you don't have anything nice to say, why are you online? Just that's, I guess, where I'm going with that. And it's not at me personally, but just things I have to deal with that I don't want to see. So maybe that's an easy out. And I'm going to ask you what you hated, and maybe I'll come back to something good.
Bikers in the street. That's my biggest hate for this week.
Better.
Yep.
Bikers in the street.
I tried to tell you. I was trying to drive through the suburbs this week, and I swear to you, every single time I tried to go anything over 30 miles an hour, there was bikers on lined up. I don't know if it was a race.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. I don't know if they hate me, but especially in the suburbs, there's no bike lane. So people just drive their bikes in the street. Drive, bike,
yep.
pedal,
bike,
whatever.
Bike, yeah.
And I got places to go. I got people to see. I got things to do, and I am sick of braking for bikers. I will do it if I have to. But that's my
What
hate
is
this
your
week.
take then on motorized scooters? I feel like that's becoming a very hot topic here in Dubuque and in other places where lots of motorized scooters on the street or on the sidewalk. So on the opposite of the street, these are on the sidewalk. I literally this week saw a kid on a motorized scooter almost just plow through a mom and her 2 or 3 year old walking, and she had to pull the kid out of the way. So that would maybe be, I don't know that I have really strong opinions. I haven't had to personally interact, but what's your feeling on the motorized scooters?
I think it's more of a city problem than it is a countryside problem. So
Okay.
that's my cop-out answer. But I would say just go on the sidewalk.
Okay, so you're saying
I
on
feel
the
like I'm gonna
sidewalk,
get I feel like I'm gonna get hate for this. I feel like this is an unpopular opinion, but I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Let me drive.
I was driving the other day. I was driving my kids to practice, and I did have to wait behind a biker, as you're saying this, for a very long time, where it's you can't pass them because then you're just that person. And it's so you're slowly going through traffic, waiting for them to do their thing.
You know what the worst part was? I had passed somebody that was after waiting for a half a mile. I got to the red light. He caught up to me, passed me, and then I had to repass this guy again. And I went, this feels so personal that I don't even know how to cope with it. It feels personal.
I love this. So you hate bikers on the street.
I hate bikers on the street.
They should be on the sidewalk. Controversial issue.
I don't hate people that bike. Let me just clarify before I get so much hate that it's overwhelming. I don't hate people that bike. Biking's fine. Great source of exercise and very fun. I got places to go. Don't be in the street.
I love this. Okay. I hate haters. You hate bikers in the street. I'm still not coming up with another good one. What else, Marc? Anything else you want to get off your chest? Or
people that walk really, really slow. I think you could catch the sense.
A theme here, Marc has places to be.
The past,
people to see.
It's been the past week. I get stuck behind people in the street. I get stuck behind people on the sidewalk, and I'm like, I gotta go. And so I had a rant about that today.
I like it.
It's been sitting with me for days, and
I can
had to let this
feel
out.
the aggression that you were like, this is what we need to talk about.
I'm like, can I get around? No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter.
Mine, okay, I'm like thinking of other things that have annoyed me in the past week, and I go back to people hating on stuff. Like, we're in the Midwest, we finally waited for summer, and people complain about the heat.
True.
That really gets me going, because it's like, guys, we only have like 3 good months out of the year in the Midwest, and we're complaining about them being too hot. So, see, mine, it just goes back to people hating on just, live your life, be positive, and get out of Marc's way, and you'll be fine.
Exactly. This is why I kicked it off, that you're too nice to really have a hater thing.
I mean,
and this
I
is
wouldn't
something
say I'm too nice. I just think I'm like, everyone, like, can't we all just get along?
This is one of
the
our
street?
I think this is one of our biggest differences as people.
Okay, this is good.
I'm fully ready to hate on things that annoy me, even slightly. And you're like, well, like maybe they were supposed to walk slow or something. Stop hating.
Well, I'm just like, maybe, there's a opposite side to everything. Like these bikers. I think, is it the law that you have to be in the street? Like, I think that's a weird law. Is that?
It's irrelevant.
Okay, like,
it's irrelevant to the point.
Someone let us know what you think about that, and if it's irrelevant or if it is legally what you should be doing.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're not here to give legal advice.
No, we aren't.
We say all the time. We're just two friends talking into microphones. So I just,
I
don't know if it's law. That doesn't, at this point, doesn't concern me. Is my point.
Okay. Well, anything else you need to get off your chest, or maybe anything like, what are you just like really into this week? Maybe if we spin this to a Nicole version, like what's something you're just like, I am so in love with XYZ.
Man, I am really getting into like lawn stuff lately. So like, well, it's summertime. It's summertime. So like we're like, it's time to like mow the lawn and like pull weeds and stuff. And I'm like, this is kind of nice, actually. It actually looks nice when you pull the weeds out from the
it does.
The garden and stuff. So that's pretty much it. That's been my thing lately. It's been like
lawn stuff. Okay,
lawn stuff.
You should come visit my house, and there's some lawn stuff that you can take care of. We have some weeds in the backyard with the kids.
Yeah, I say that to people, and all of a sudden everyone's like, "Well, I got a job for you to do."
I'm
like,
come over?
No. I just like pulling weeds a few times, and just getting rid of them because it looks nice. But now I get it as I get, older.
Right.
So anyways, that's what I've been into. Super exciting. What do you have one queued up?
I mean, I think I talk to you about this all the time, but I just am so into summer and the pool that
all the time.
That's like it. It's like, I don't have time to do the lawn stuff because I'm at the pool and I don't really care how the lawn looks. I'm like, we're those neighbors that our lawn looks fine. It's good. Yeah. We have kids that run through it and play in it. And lawn stuff doesn't really get me going. No, it's more like I'm going to go have friends at the pool and have fun.
I'm gonna give the people a little insight into our like friendship. I think I texted you. I don't even know what I said to you earlier this past week, and I don't know if maybe I said I was like excited for summer or something really big, and you're like, "Are you in the pool?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?
Like, why are you not in the pool?
What? How?" I'm not even near a pool. What are you talking? So
I just trying to understand. Like when you say like I like summer. Now we know that you're doing lawn care and I am at the pool if anyone's looking for me.
Yeah, no, this definitely tracks. This definitely tracks.
It's the best. It's the best.
Well, without further ado, I think I'm happy to hop into the idea this week. My tagline was spin to win. And you're probably like, okay, well, what does spinning have to do?
What is spin to win?
You talked about bikes. Who knows, right?
Ooh, I didn't even think of that connection.
I didn't either until right now. So where this idea originates, let's start here, is how far can you take a $20 bill? Now, that could mean a lot of different things, but I thought of it as a hybrid situation of maximizing your money in a way. So it's sort of an ask you questions thing.
Okay.
What is something that everybody needs to do in their life? Day to day, week to week, everybody needs to do their laundry. Okay? Where
Okay.
if you don't necessarily have one in your home, a lot of people go to laundromats.
Yep.
Do it in person. It's cheaper than having your own washing machine, at least, depending on the situation. So let's take a hypothetical person who brings in $20 to do their laundry, right?
Okay.
Now, I haven't been in a laundromat in some time, so I don't exactly know how much it costs, but I'm going to say it's a few bucks per wash, per load. You break that $20 bill, what happens after that? Let's say you've spent $12, you have $8 left to go. Okay? Pretty reasonable if you're just kind of spending loose change and dollars. So I thought, what is something that if you're a business owner, I'm trying to somehow provide a service or give something to get those $8 additional. It's already loose change. I'm going to take every, cent that I can have. And I thought, what's something that people spend dollars on? Slot machines was what was my first idea. Okay, so it's a little bit out there of a laundromat combination with slot machines. Now I know that I believe that we have briefly mentioned this in the past, and I believe that this does happen in some states where there are slot machines in, gas stations, but they're also in laundromats and like in regular places, I would say. But the final little twist I have on here, which I think is where somebody could make some money if you wanted to be in this business, is what happens when you lose at a slot machine? Because most of the time you will probably lose at a slot machine. You have a few cents left over, 23 cents, 15 cents. What do you do with that? Sometimes, and a lot of times, people don't even cash it in. So what is something to, let's say, maximize the last amount of cents there? And I was thinking, what if you had something similar to that of a Robinhood account, penny stock trading floor, where you could use the last of the cents to purchase stocks akin to that of a Robinhood account or something like that. And that way that $20 that you walked in with has been fully spent at the same establishment. So that's my spin to win idea. Play on the slot machines, play on the washer dryers as well, and the stock trading floor. So that's my little spin to win.
Okay. Well, I like the name. I also just want to call out my favorite part of this whole pitch was when you go, what do you do with your dollar bills? And I was ready to jump in and say, like concessions or a vending machine. And you're like,
that too.
Gambling. So I love that. So that was great.
Yeah.
I like the concept of like you're taking your dollar bill and looking for the way, if you own a laundromat, like to maximize the most profit in one location. Like obviously that's smart. You want to keep as many dollars there as you can. And while you're doing laundry, if you're at a laundromat, you're bored. You got to wait for the whole load of laundry to wash and dry. So you might be sitting there sometimes for up to 2 hours, if not longer. So that gives you something to do, which I think we should talk a little bit about that.
Totally.
So I like the slots. I think, okay, so talk to me a little bit more about the Robinhood type account.
Yeah.
Is this something like you envision linking to actual, like a Robinhood or a platform that already exists? Or is this like I guess this is the idea, is that you would develop a new platform that's in some way also benefiting the laundromat owner. Am I right?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I'm looking at it from the perspective of you are a brand new laundromat owner and you are trying to maximize the money. And really where the idea comes from is you and I have both seen this. We've talked about this. Cents get left behind a lot, especially in casinos, and because who's really keeping track of 23 cents or whatever. And I know that one of the pitches for, I'm calling out Robinhood, but only as sort of just a kind of a template that I think does this well, is one of the things that they really sold people on was like, you only need to throw in a few bucks to play in the stock market or start learning investing or actually make some serious money. And I think that was really resonated with a lot of people. And I think this is kind of addendum to again, something that may already exist, and it's combining concepts, is another way to kind of integrate people into something that they may be interested in, but they don't want to commit too much to, or something like that. And I think the profit comes from volume here. So if you're saying, if you want to make the trades via Robinhood, let's just use it for now. At the laundromat, there's a 1 cent fee per trade or something like that. To answer your question specifically, I think you could incorporate something that is, I'm sort of envisioning a Robinhood almost interface, like a kiosk, almost at like a McDonald's. I don't exactly know how that would play out, but that's kind of the vision I had for how this would play out. If you wanted to create something new, I think you'd run into some bigger issues. If you were this person, I think the value comes in combining things together, and so you'd almost have multiple streams of revenue. People may also just come in just for the Robinhood accessibility. People might just come in to, for the laundromat, and we already know that that's a proven business. And then obviously slot machines are usually, I don't want to say they're printing money, but they're usually do perform fairly well if it's a high foot traffic place. So to answer your question, it could be both. I think you'd run into bigger issues if you didn't partner with a platform that already does exist.
Right. I have a couple thoughts. I think I really agree with you. Like you and I have talked about, like there is nothing. You know what actually really does bother me, and I do hate on, here we go. I was going to say it is very infuriating when you do get the 23 cents back, because at the casino, to your point, there will be a trash can just full of receipts. And how many people are leaving just that money with the casino and not doing anything with it? So there you go. That's actually what gets me going, Mark, is this was a great topic. So perfect segue.
Yep.
Okay, I have a thought for you.
Okay.
Is this maybe not a laundromat with with slot machines and Robinhood inside, but instead it's actually a business of stock brokerage with laundry machines in it? So kind of flipping the concept. So same idea, but really you talked about laundromats are lucrative businesses. That's something that you do make a decent return off of. But is the idea maybe that it's a place like a Robinhood or another brokerage account that owns the business, has the business because they already have the platform? I do like the idea of your McDonald's type kiosk screens, because I think it answers the question of something to do. So it's like that interactive slot machine feeling like while you're there, because it's taking the time. Like the time is one of the problems here that you're trying to solve with the laundromat and the money. But then also it's giving you something productive to do. So instead of just like going into a casino or sitting on your phone doing this interface, you're then in there like doing laundry and you're feeling accomplished as well. So how do you feel about maybe the idea about reversing the concept a little bit?
Totally. And I think that's fair, because you're sort of in this scenario where it starts as a casino floor almost. I think you're chasing the money, which is a perfectly valid rebuttal. My pushback on that is more so of, are you targeting the casino going clientele, or are you targeting kind of the more everyday person who just goes to a laundromat and says, I have some extra money? Obviously, to your point, I think the casino's where there is more money. But I think if I'm going to a casino, I'm not bringing my dirty laundry.
Right.
But if I'm going to the laundromat as something I must do rather than a casino, which I choose to do, let's say, I'm capitalizing on people already being there for something that they need to already do. So that's my rebuttal to the fact of branding it as a casino floor with a laundromat. I would only imagine that you'd use that laundromat if you are gambling for 7 days straight and you actually don't have any more clothes
like
left
I
on your
gotta
back.
wash this clothes right now.
That would be where I would put that. But I see your point of the time, like the time utilization, because that definitely would come into play. And you wouldn't be worried about time because you'd be coming there for gambling. So it sort of eliminates that problem. Yeah.
Where I was going, when I envision this, it's more of like the behind the scenes of the business. So it's not necessarily a casino floor with laundry machines. It's just, I think the one issue to get around with like the Robinhood account in there or the slot machines is the 21 plus, or even the like the FTC guidelines of Robinhood. And again, like I think if you're buying the stock in whatever platform this would be and you're answering your own questions, you're having to kind of sign a contract to go through the touch screen or however that works. But so maybe the business, like it still presents as a laundromat. But in terms of how you structure it behind the scenes with the contract is more of like a casino base. Because I do get what you're saying. Like you're also trying to solve the issue of waiting around, doing laundry, and not the average, if you're going to go to the casino, you're going to go to the casino anyways, but this is more for people to kind of catch their attention. So, okay. I'm on board with this.
No, I'm almost a little more on board with when you explain it that way because
we have flip-flopped.
Yeah, we have flip-flopped. What else is new? But this is how it goes. No, but that's a good point though, because you could brand something like this from a book's perspective. Running a casino floor and especially running this Robinhood account would be very tricky, I'm sure. So we'll get into the issues of that maybe after this, but if you focused on it as a casino, running it as a casino type business, you would be prepared for some of those hurdles. Whereas a laundromat has significantly less. The age one is something I hadn't even considered, honestly, but that's a really good point because how would you check that? How would you verify that? Have to have somebody on staff. I mean, I guess that's my answer to your question is these places, I'm just going to take a gas station as an example. A lot of them by me have lots of slot machines around and, there's at least an attendant, I would say, is the official way that people would check that. But
and usually there's like a section in like the bars or the gas stations I'm familiar with where it's like you can be in that establishment. So you could be in the laundromat and then it would be like, here's the section if you're 21 or older that you can go into. So I think that still works. And again, you'd have to have someone working at the laundromat regardless. Yeah. So it's like somebody monitoring that. One thing it makes me think of, and it's on a much smaller scale, but at O'Hare now they do have stations for the Illinois lottery. And I have been stuck waiting for flights. And usually I am not a lottery ticket person, but I have, I've had extra 20s where I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit here and do a bunch of scratch tickets. Exactly. So I do see your point that it kind of triggers something like a good way to spend time and then also an extra way to get income.
I literally looked up, can a laundromat get stock floor license? And then the only answers were how to become a stockbroker as my response. And I was like, wow, well, this isn't really helpful that much. No. So I don't think that that's happening, but I think the bigger concept, at least with this I'm having, is like combining some of these things that are already proven to be successful and seeing if any of them fit together to, I'm just going to keep saying maximizing the $20. There's another app that I'll shout out that is really good. And it is kind of another inspiration for this idea. If you ever heard of Acorns, I don't know if you've used it. I used it once.
I've heard of it.
The whole point of it is rounding up. So if you spend $1.75, it'll round up 25 cents and it'll invest it for you. Right. So it's a similar concept. It's not exactly the same, but it's kind of like using the pennies and we don't use pennies anymore, but the quarters and the coins that you would get. Yep. That's the broader point. And I think once you get into like how it would actually be done, I think it would be a hurdle, but I think it would be a big draw for people who are maybe already have to do something that is generally pretty boring. Right. Maybe I could get a penny stock and maybe it shoots up 500%. And it probably won't, but it might. So
could you imagine doing laundry though? And then all of a sudden you're like, holy cow, you like check this portfolio and you are one of the stocks that just makes it huge and you make all your money while doing laundry. It'd be pretty sweet. I have two things here. I think there's like two different business ideas. I'm going to share that. I think this episode alone and this concept, Mark, is going to help our listeners think on. And I'd be really curious for feedback with where this could go. So one, I hear you saying there is the issue with when you are gambling, like what could you do with these extra pennies? And I think that's a really great concept. And I love the rounding up. I love the penny stocks, also teaching people how to invest. And so I think that's a concept. The other one, while they could go together, the idea as you're talking, and we're kind of flipping this around back and forth and liking each other's ideas of the idea of even having a casino or owning slot machines, being an entertainment company and putting them in non-traditional places. So not in gas stations or bars or casinos. I would just be really curious how they would perform in a place like a laundromat, which is the concept we're talking about, or even other establishments where, even maybe the look of the slot machines could be just a little bit, I don't know. I think there's a lot of research and there's a lot of science that goes into how slot machines work to get you your attention and to draw you in. But is there a way that you could put them in non-conventional spaces similar to the laundromat where you already have the regulations, the guidelines, and you're just kind of building out these new venues that are serving dual need? I guess, what are your thoughts on that? But I kind of I love the concept together, but I also think there's so many other ideas going on here that you could really pick this apart and spin off into a lot of different business opportunities.
I think, as a totally fair response, I think this is more of a hodgepodge of ideas combined together with a very simple premise.
Right.
And if this isn't the best way to do it, then that's not the best way to do it. But I to your point, the idea came very easily, but the execution was a lot more difficult, at least in my idea. So listen, this is house business. Sometimes we bring somewhat unfinished ideas, and we flesh it out. There's pieces to it.
I don't even think it's unfinished. I still love the idea of the touch screen. I can picture it so clearly.
Yeah.
And I love that we keep saying the McDonald's kiosk, but it is true. You go into a McDonald's now and you're doing your order on a giant screen. And I think it draws you in. It gives you something to do. I love the Robin Hood. Shout out Robin Hood.
Shout out Robin Hood.
Because we have said this so many times in this podcast.
Yeah.
But the interface that you could use and also the interest of penny stock. So I love all three components as a business. I think it's just, how do you get past the regulations? You have the business of gambling and then the business of stock brokerage kind of all in one. How, as a laundromat owner, which I would argue laundromat owners are usually pretty savvy business operators. So I think you could figure this out, but I like it.
Yeah. Maybe we could get into some of the kind of bigger hurdles that's maybe somebody would encounter. The first thing that comes to mind, how would you keep your Robinhood linked to you personally? Would you have to sign in every single time at the kiosk? Is this a technical limitation? Would it be something that maybe you can only access it at these kinds of terminals? Is it Robinhood related or not? So I guess the individualization would be my first thing that I would try and figure out.
Yeah, that's good, because I think it's also protecting privacy, right? Making sure that your account's not getting hacked. These machines aren't getting hacked. Yeah, that's a good first hurdle to figure out. Maybe it's scanning your phone or having a card, or maybe it's a laundromat card. There you go.
Oh, good idea, Nicole.
Yeah, there we go. And I guess that takes away from the cash. But what I mentioned there's two different businesses with two different regulations that you have to hurdle. So it's the casino, the gambling restrictions, along with the brokerage restrictions. So I think you could do that. I think it's, maybe it's even collaborating with two different vendors. Maybe it's an interface that talks to each other. That would be the most ideal situation. But again, it'd have to be pretty tech, I think, to figure that out, which that's a little above my head. I'll just say that.
Me too. I feel like we say that we come up against that. We're like, okay, so we can't program that. So I almost think another issue that maybe we haven't talked about yet, how would you orient the space for it to make sense? What would this location look like?
Right. And especially if it has to be separated. So maybe, another idea. Maybe it's a 21-year-old only laundromat. I'm back on my, the casino owns this. It looks clean, like a laundromat. You have no idea it's a casino. So, Mark, you're walking into this place and you don't even know the casino owns it. It's called, spinning to win. Is that what we called it?
Yeah, spin to win.
Maybe the win might give it I think that's fair. But it has no feel of a casino. What if, even to take it another tech step, and I'm laughing that I'm even going to say this idea to you. What if the laundry machines are the slot machines? So it's you put your laundry in and you're playing your game as the laundry spins. Maybe this is the $1 million idea.
You know what? That is a fantastic addition to it, because it's even more to the point of you're putting in your money. Oh my God, that's a great idea.
And it's maybe, however, we need a gambling tech to please slide into our DMs or these comments about this, because I want to know more. But if you are doing the laundry, but you're playing the game somehow on the machine, there's a iPad like, for lack of, or our McDonald's touchscreen, we'll just keep going with that, on
Why
the
not?
laundry machine that you're able to like play as the laundry spins. And the more loads of laundry you do, maybe the more credits you get. And that's what keeps you coming back. Like
Wow.
figuring out how the slot machine can be the laundry machine.
I got really excited about that because I could instantly picture like you put in all your stuff and then right attached is
It's like,
your-
doo-doo-doo.
that's it. You could win big money while doing your stuff, and all you have to do is put in a few extra bucks that you were already wanted breaking change for anyways. I think that gets a little bit away from the stock idea.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
but that's okay because the initial premise, right, is just to, how do you maximize the $20? Where does the change go?
So
And-
maybe,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to, maybe the
Oh, please.
change, I just got really excited. I was like, what if the change goes back to like your credit again to get you to keep coming back? However, then at like some point you're still gonna like lose out, and that's the problem that we hate. So maybe we didn't solve the 23 cents issue that we're talking about with this.
I got this.
Okay.
You ever go to Dave and Buster's?
I have been to Dave and Buster's.
They have those little cars there where they like, you still run into the issue of having credits and cents left over. I'm now imagining a sort of in-universe card that, we're getting a little wonky with the ideas here. But
I like it. This is good. We're really getting into this.
But
Yeah.
okay, so an in-universe card, let's say, or account makes the problem of integration between the three a lot easier to solve, at least from the, I'm going to say, user perspective, because you could just go throw credits on when you get home, and then by the time you leave there, you've made $200 or something like that.
And I think it keeps you coming back as a repeat customer. So, with this podcast and these ideas, we're always trying to help with the business. Like, how are they making money if you take this idea? So if you would create this washing machine and dryer with the casino or the slot machine interface, and you had the loyalty card, it's like, not only are you continuing to play and I guess have something to pass the time, potentially winning money like you mentioned, but also you're able to kind of keep coming back, because if you have that 23 cents on, it's like, okay, I got to do laundry again next week. I'm just going to reload my card and go. And similar to gambling, like we said at the top of the episode, usually you're losing anyways, but at least you have something to do to pass the time.
If it's nice, like you said, and if you create a situation where the slot part seems kind of seamless into what you're already doing, I think people would be enticed to stay, or at the very least intrigued to say, what do you mean? What do you mean these laundromats? What do you mean you can win money on that? What is that? That's insane.
Well, and if you could do that, why would you even consider going anywhere else?
To a regular casino, right? You get 2 for
there
1.
You go.
I still like the idea. I still think it's kind of crazy. But I think there's pieces in it for people to kind of pull from and say, yeah, I'm not fully with you, but like 75% of you, I'm 75% of the idea. I'm there, and I think I could just change the end and it would work. Which, hey, that's what we're here for. We're here to kick off some ideas and see if some of them work.
Yeah, my final takeaway for this would be, I think it is such a big concept that I think there's a lot here for listeners to take away. And I am really excited for feedback, for one.
Yeah.
I am tending to lean towards our final idea that I would like to see the laundry machines be the slot machine. And I actually know some people in the gambling industry I'm going to send this episode to. So
Perfect.
I'm going to tag them. Shout out to some of you in the gambling industry. I want to hear what you have as feedback. If you've ever thought of making a gambling machine into a laundry machine, we need like that laundress slot machine. I'm not even going to go there. But anyways,
we'll work on the names. We'll work on the names.
But I think the other takeaway I have is I still think, and this was like such a great full circle moment, because not even knowing what your idea was, or like what I was going to say is something that does upset me, is you and I have talked so much about the extra pennies that you get at a slot machine and how you feel taken advantage of and not enough people know what to do with it. So I honestly think this is a concept we will probably come back to with other ideas, because I don't think this is enough to let it rest. So stay tuned, because I have a feeling there will be future episodes where this comes up and we're going to keep trying to spin on how to use this, or I'd be curious how other people think we should use it. So I think overall, Great idea. Great spin to win, Mark.
Thanks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on House Business.
Hey, now feels like a great time to mention that this podcast is produced by My4 Creative.
Couldn't think of a better time than now.
They work with businesses and organizations on all their video marketing needs, and they make it a super simple process.
I hear they're doing podcasts now. Is that true?
It is. New this year, they are offering podcast production, which is super exciting.
And believe me when I say, they make you look and sound your absolute best.
We look awesome. Learn more at my4creative.com. My4 Creative, video production simplified. Now, back to business.
Thanks.
Who would have thought we would end up talking about a laundering gambling machine?
Nicole, did that just hit you? Because that was the best
It did. That's
idea
why
ever.
I was giggling, because I was like, I can't even believe I'm going to say this out loud.
It's so good.
Not even
I
I'm gonna say it out loud.
I genuinely loved it. I
like
thought that was
interrupted you, and
amazing.
then I'm like, oh, I'm like really giddy about this. Like,
No, it
what
was-
if?
I'm thinking literally like you're scrolling on the thing, and I'm like, while the clothes are like clear
Right.
and you can see them.
It'd be sweet.
Nicole, to get down to business, so to speak, any more feedback that you may have gotten from anything previous?
Yeah, I have been getting some feedback. I've really enjoyed hearing from our listeners. They actually have a question for you, Mark.
Oh, boy.
They're wondering, some of the feedback I've gotten is if you realize that at some point you are actually going to die. I think people from the QR Dead episode have wondered, like, if I broke that news to you for the first time with your uncomfort level. And when someone asked me, like, does he
Jeez.
know? Like, does he know this will happen to him? I'm like, I wish I would have asked him that in the episode.
Oh, man. We have gotten a lot of feedback on the QR Dead thing. I mean,
People
quite
are
a bit.
loving it.
Yeah.
I think people are finding it original. I haven't heard yet any other ways that people would create it that we
Yeah.
haven't talked about yet. So still open to that. But I have been laughing at either, we've talked about people being uncomfortable, but just the feedback when someone said, does he know? Like, does he know?
Yeah,
I'm like, I'll ask him.
That's really funny because, yeah, I can confirm that I do know. So to answer that question,
You're like getting uncomfortable all over again.
I'm getting uncomfortable. I'm literally
all
I'm
over again.
sweating a little more than I was.
Okay, we're moving on. What do you have coming up? Anything exciting?
Summer is the time for bachelor parties and weddings, and both of our birthdays are coming up. That's pretty exciting. Yeah, just gonna live it up in summer. Maybe I'll find a pool one day.
Maybe you'll find a pool. Maybe you should come visit me and I'll take you to the pool. I'll show you what pool life is. But
Yeah.
you can find us, as always, on YouTube. You can actually watch this episode on YouTube, or you can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Give us a shout out on our Instagram, which is House Business Podcast. Love to hear the comments. We are still shadow banned as babies on TikTok. So at some point, maybe we'll have that, or maybe we'll just let that one go. But until next time, I'll be at the pool, and Mark will be doing
On
yard
your boat.
work.
I'll be
on
on
my
your
boat.
boat. On your boat.
But call us when you make $1 million, and we'll see you on your yacht. Cheers.
This right here feel like money. This right here feel like money. Ooh, money moves. Ooh, money moves. Ooh, this right here feel like money. This right here feel like money.